That's the Budding Author podcast with me, your host, Simon Ward. Today, we've got a bit of an emotional one because we are talking to a lovely lady who's inspired by several things, but losing her poor dog has been part of it. Right then, we introduced with a smile, Deb Fox. Hello.
Hello.
I don't want to start that off too depressing, but part of your world, because we know people love their dogs and that sort of stuff. I think when we lost our dog, it was sort of so devastating. And if I tell you the quick story, I was in the family home at the time. So my mum and dad were on holiday. Me and my sister were at home, and the dog passed away while my mum and dad were on holiday.
Really?
So you can imagine we had to deal with it all, which was sort of not great. But then sort of when they came home, after sort of telling them and that sort of stuff. So that was fairly bad. But I mean, yours was a bit of a shock as well, wasn't it? With Jake, your dog?
Yeah, he was fine on the Sunday. No problems at all. We ran around the golf course. We had a lovely day. And then he just went downhill, and by Tuesday afternoon he was put to sleep. He had kidney failure. So
and was he an old dog, was he? Or?
No, he was 99. And he was a Jack Russell, so he should have been living till 30, really.
Jack Russells yap forever, don't they? Those.
No, he wasn't a yappy dog. He wasn't bothered. He was much of a sniffer. He was a sniffer rather than a yapper.
A sniffer rather than that's better on the ears. That's better.
Yeah.
So you said just before we went on air that you love films and you watch lots of films with your partner.
Yeah.
And so what got you into writing, Deb?
So we went after Jake died. I'd got a lot of time on my hands because normally walking in morning, noon, and night. Obviously, you've not got that anymore. And we go to the pictures every week. We watch everything.
All kinds of rubbish.
Everything. To be fair, we go without even knowing what it's about. And sometimes they're the best films because you've not preconceived that this is going to be great. And then you watch it, and it's the greatest film you've ever watched.
Shall I tell you my little story about what it was in my single days? I'd met this girl and was taking us to the pictures. I'd only met her at a nightclub, and we said, we'll meet up for the pictures and that sort of stuff. And I took her to see a film. And this film, I thought this will be all right. This will be out. I didn't really read it up or anything. And sometimes it's a bit unclear. And he got Jodie Foster in, so I thought, Jodie Foster's a good actress, that'll be fine. The Accused.
Oh no!
So for anybody who's not aware of the film The Accused, imagine me there, young lad with this girl, with my arm around this girl, and there's a rape scene right at the very start of the film. I didn't see her again after that. I can't think where it went wrong. But one of my many errors over the years. That is one of them, isn't it? I don't know what to say about that. I think we better listen to your story. It's probably more pain.
Yeah. So we went to watch a horror film.
What was it called?
I'm not saying. I've never said.
Oh, you should say. Nobody's listening. Just say. What year was it, this film?
So this was 2019. So it's just after Jake had died in the February.
Yeah, 2019. There's any good films around that time?
No.
I haven't seen any good films that have been released since about 2010. There's only been about 8 films that have been any good, I think.
Well, this wasn't scary. It wasn't gory. It was nothing. It was awful.
I saw a horror film recently, and it was. I'm trying to remember the name of it now. It was Zombies in the Park or something. It was like this school teacher and then these zombies and that sort of stuff. It was like some of them are so bad they're funny, aren't they? I think it was a comedy,
yeah, they've got to be like
horror.
the old Hammer films.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. It's not one to recommend to anybody. Now go on, tell us what's the name of it.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying.
Oh, come on, Deb. We got it. Who was in it? Who was in it that we
Nobody
know?
you've ever heard of. I think that's the point.
That's a red flag.
Yeah,
Jodie Foster obviously would be sort of like one to pick.
So we went to watch it. Halfway through, I said to my partner, I'm going to write a horror story. I can do better than this.
I think that all the time watching TV. Some of the stuff on TV. My wife likes the romance channel and the Hallmark films, Christmas films. They're terrible, aren't they? They are terrible. And so a Christmas rom-com is on my list somewhere. I don't know where I'll fit it in, but I'm going to do one of those. As soon as I've got into TV properly, I'll do that.
Well, they've already started, haven't they? The Christmas films, they're already on one of the channels.
Yeah, well, the romance channel that my wife likes watching has now switched to Christmas.
Yes, it does.
Great Christmases and all that business. I don't mind I quite like Christmas films, and rom-coms and that sort of stuff. I'm okay with those. It's nice to relax at the end of the day.
Yes, it's something that you can just watch.
But I'm a bit of a stickler for dialogue in my writing, and when I'm editing my own work and on editing other people's work, I'm really sharp on dialogue. Dialogue needs to be really sharp and realistic. And so when I listen to something on Hallmark, for example, on these romance channels, and it's like, no, you can't be doing that. Has anybody looked at this script before they've done it? And it's
who talks like that?
Yeah, it's like as you know, Dave, that kind of You've heard of that term before. As you know, Dave, my father passed away, and now my mother's going to be coming along. Oh, can't believe that they've got anybody putting that into film. It's ridiculous. Sorry, go on. I'm interrupting your story. Go on, carry on.
So we came home, and I started writing down characters, the name of my town, what it was going to be about, and then I wrote the end because I write the end first.
So you're definitely much a plotter then, straight into plotting.
Yes, yeah, and I think I realised that afterwards that I didn't put enough time into the characters. I put more time into the plot, but that's something that over time and obviously feedback, I'm now spending more time on. But yeah, it was the end came first, and then I filled in the blanks.
Yeah, so, I think there's a few like that. I think most budding authors, most new authors, start with the pantser, and then start plotting more as they go, and that's what happened with me. My early stuff is sort of very much pantsing, and then what I've been writing now, it's a young adult series. I've plotted every chapter, and so it's. I think as you develop as an author, you move towards that. Of course, Stephen King. I know you've heard of him. I think he's done all right.
Got a couple, hasn't
he? Yeah, he's done a couple. I think he's still pantsing all the way, and he's proving that everybody has their method, and there's not specifically a right or wrong way. It's whatever suits you.
Yes.
Why you're comfortable.
Yes. And I think that I've had so many other authors give me so much feedback about how I could make it more in depth and build on the characters, that you're learning all the time. Yeah. And I think that's what I look at now in the second book. There's a lot more characters. There's a lot more conversation, and it's a lot more in depth. So
I think part of the joy with the pantsing side of it, the characters take over and tell the story for you. And if you, in my mind, if you plot too much, you're sort of going to a set end, and it's quite sort of staccato almost. But when it's more character driven, like I will plot some scenes, and then what happens in the previous scene, it's like, hang on, that's not going to happen now. The characters sort of change direction.
Yes.
With my first series, the Awakening series, I just totally fell in love with all the characters. The vulnerable maiden, as it were, Mia, in Finding Love in 2045, who has a great character arc over the Finding Love in 2045 and Awoken in 2046. I never planned that arc. She just became better and stronger as she went through the adversities that just so happened to occur while I was writing it. So she just got better. She just got better and stronger as her world sort of changed, sort of thing. So it's good, isn't it?
It is. It is. You're learning all the time, and I think that's what I've realised with writing is that I never, until Jake passed away, I never wanted to be a writer. It never even dawned on me. But
was you
now
a big reader, Deb?
I have, unfortunately, I have OCD. If I start reading, I can't put it down. So
I have a few readers like that. They say that once they start my books, they have to finish. They just go straight through.
The problem is that I need to work, so it's not a good idea. So I do try to read, and I used to read old stories when I was a kid. I liked Robinson Crusoe and 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. They were the books that I liked. And I read all Anne Rice's books because I loved Interview with the Vampire and The Start and all that. Loved it. But now I find that my compulsion to carry on reading until it's dawn is not a good thing when you're at work.
No, it's choosing the time to start, isn't it? It's choosing the time to start. I think I shall have to send you a copy of Time to Click, which was actually my third book, but it's actually leads the series now. It's like the prequel to Mia's journey.
Okay.
And it's, the guy that she ultimately meets, it's his story up to the point where she meets him, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And he has a very tortuous journey, and there is a very trigger horror point in it that you'll probably love and want to see on film.
Perhaps. Yes. We'll talk to somebody.
Maybe I'll send you a copy of that. If anybody else wants a copy, just email me. I'll probably send you a copy because I'm like that.
Thank you.
So I think for writers like ourselves, it's more about getting the story out there, and we want people to enjoy our stories, and we want to hear what people think of our stories. It's not about trying to make money doing it.
No.
It's I want to tell my stories. I want people to see my stories. That's so yeah, Time to Click is I've got a tagline on it. It was like, if you think dating is tough, you should read Time to Click. So that's a bit of a teaser, but yeah, that's sales on that are going better now. Was a bit of a slow burner to start with, but it's sort of starting to gather pace. Got some good reviews.
Good.
The last review I had, it was from Alan actually, and it's quite a long review, but very nice. So
lovely.
Anybody watching, have a look at that review. It's on Amazon, so check that out for my Time to Click. And what was your first one called, Jake?
Yeah, the first book's called Secondhand Rose.
Secondhand Rose.
Yes, so it's an antique shop, and it's a young girl whose grandma owns the antique shop, passes away, leaves the house and the antique shop to her, who is Abigail.
Yeah.
And she inherits everything. And unfortunately, she also inherits a very dark secret. that this town's been keeping for a long time.
Oh, that sounds like a film. That does. That sounds like a film. The film rights are coming in already.
Well, if I did want it into a film, it's got to be M. Night that does it. Because he's the king of twists, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, quality. And who's your biggest champion of your writing? Is that your husband, or have you got someone else who's a big champion of your writing?
Probably my mum, because
Yeah.
I did actually write. I wrote Secondhand Rose, and I gave it to her as a Christmas present, and that was it. I was never going to do anything else with it. It was just for my mum, because she also adored Jake. So I just thought I'll put him in it. He will be one of the main characters. He's Abigail's dog in the book. Give it to my mum for Christmas. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. And then last year I was 50, and I decided that I would send it to a publisher to see if it was any good, and get some feedback, because I enjoyed writing it, and I'd got another idea for another book, which is my second book. And out of 100 publishers, only one hit the criteria of that Secondhand Rose is a novello. It's a horror story. They were taking submissions, and they accepted it. They sent me an email within 2 weeks saying, "We want your book."
Oh, blooming heck, that's good. Did they do much on editing with you, or was it pretty much straight in?
They told me not to change the story at all. They didn't want anything changing, but they would send me edits. And bearing in mind, I've got no qualifications from school at all. I left school with nothing. Never wanted to be a writer. I work in a warehouse. I love my job. Never, ever thought that anybody would want to take my book. So the first lot of edits were about 300.
Yeah.
And I just had a panic attack.
One at a time. That's it.
Yeah. Yes, but I just thought it was like a school teacher just saying no. Literally meltdown. So me and my partner were going on holiday. We were going to Amble in Northumberland.
Ambleside.
Yeah. So we were going there. So I had 4 days to change all these edits. So we would
Did you get some time off work? Yeah.
Every night.
Was that time off work, or was after work?
So we literally finished work at 5, tea, edits, went to work. We start work at 7, so back at work, finish at 5, tea, edits.
Oh, that's a great story, though. That's a great story. Going through that pain. I think that's what happens with a traditional publisher. It's very time bound, isn't it? You need to.
Yeah, because they wanted to get. They then sent me a second lot of edits after we came off holiday, which were like about half a dozen.
Yeah.
But the first.
What sort of edits were they? Were they sort of like
spelling mistakes, grammar, just everything that I didn't know anything about. I'd overused words because it's my writing's. I've been told my writing's very simple. You don't need a dictionary at the side of you, obviously. So
it's funny you mention that, Deb, because some writers get carried away with the language.
Yes.
And if you need to look a word up, it takes you out of the story.
Yes.
So like 11th grade sort of level is, or middle grade level is sometimes a much easier read.
Yeah, and I've been told that it's an easy read. Yeah. But I don't know big words, so I can't put them in there. So it was mostly spelling mistakes. It was just simple things. I'd missed commas. I'd not broken down the speech so that it was all in the dialogue rather than broken down so people could tell who was speaking.
Okay. Oh yes, was.
You know what I mean?
Then,
I didn't know any of these things. So when the document came and my partner printed it off for us to go through it on the kitchen table, I just thought, I can't do this. I'm having to rewrite my book. This is so panicky. Meltdown. So yeah, we did that for 4 days.
You obviously gripped them very with the writing now. That's
yes. They said it was very original. They loved that I've got 2 twists in my book, and they didn't guess either of the twists. And to be fair, nobody has guessed one of them still now. So I'm so happy about that.
Yeah.
But they loved the story, and they said that they wanted more. They wanted a series. So they said a prequel or a sequel or just more and more, because we loved it. Yeah. So it just put that idea in my head that it could be more. So that's just amazing.
That's a great inspiration to people that are writing, because quite often when you're sending stuff to a publisher, you want to make sure people think, oh, it needs to be perfect. But your testament that doesn't need to be perfect.
Far
it's the story that matters.
Yeah, it's the story. And they said the story was so original. They absolutely loved it. Yeah. And then the girl who actually edited my book sent me messages saying we just love the twist. We didn't see it coming. We loved the story. Don't change anything. Yeah. So it was absolutely brilliant. Just such a buzz to think that I'd wrote this story that somebody wanted to publish.
Yeah, that's I'm jealous. That's really good. I've sent a few out for what's name. There's probably not as many as I should have done, to be honest. I've sent a few out. But I mean, I quite like the fact that I'm self-publishing, really.
Yes.
I've got a children's book that I want some help with.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sort of animation needs doing. So that's one that I've parked it at the moment while I'm working on my other series, but that's something I've got to get back to. But that is the impressive journey you're on, isn't it?
I know.
Do you feel like a bit of a superstar?
No, I think that
you've got to be proud of yourself, though.
I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud of both the books, because the second book is a children's book. So it's not even the same genre. It's completely different. And I've just got so many stories in my head that I didn't know I had all these stories until the first one was published. And now they're just all starting to bubble. And I've already got ideas for the third.
I'm a bit like that. Are you going to do another horror? Are you?
I want to do a sequel and a prequel to Secondhand Rose. Definitely. Yeah. I've already thought about the sequel. I know where that wants to go. But then I want to do an origin story of my 2 baddies and do a book just about them, because I think we should know about them.
You've got your plotting head on then for
that. Yes. Yeah, always. And just stories pop into my head all the time. Just strange things that I see, and I think that'll make a good story.
Yeah.
So
I'm a bit like that. I've got quite a few on me back. I've got a back catalogue of ones I want to write. It's time to get to them sometimes, isn't it, Deb?
Yeah, it is, especially when I work full time as well. And I do enjoy the writing, and I do find it helps my mental health. It stops me from overthinking.
Yeah.
So then I'm putting the thoughts into the books rather than overthinking everything. So it does help.
I understand where you were going with spelling and spell checks and grammar and that sort of thing. I got a copy of Pro Writing Aid. I'm not promoting them by any means. That's not my role. But Pro Writing Aid, that has been a big help to me, sort of like spotting overused words and sentence structure and that sort of stuff. So that's been a big help to me. So that might be something you might look at. Has that been recommended to you by the publisher?
No,
Or?
not at all. I think over the last year, so many people have given me so much feedback. They've helped me to slow down. I think I rushed the writing just to get it all out of my head. So I've been slower.
The first draft, that's perfect, yeah.
Yes. So I've been a lot slower with the second book. And I'd get up on a Saturday morning at 4:00 and think, I've just thought of another chapter. I'm just going to write it in there now and just do it because I've just thought of something else. And it's been a lot more detailed, this one, because I've been thinking about it all the time, and the conversations, making sure that I'm describing the characters and their situations and everything around them, even though they're all dogs.
Yeah.
They all needed to be described and the characters brought forward so that everybody knows who they are and what their quirks are.
That's just coming up on, I think, where is all the grass going?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's coming out in
next Thursday.
Sort of mid September. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's an exciting step forward again.
It is really exciting. They told me last week that it would be published on 19th.
You're on a great journey, aren't you?
Yes, I am, and I'm loving every minute of it. It's I've learned so many things. I wasn't even on social media or anything when this all started, so I've had to learn all about Twitter and Instagram and Facebook.
Well, now you're a writer. You're like a business owner. You've got sort of everything to look through, marketing, say the publishing and editing side of things.
I know, and the writing's the easy bit.
Yeah, I think. But
it's everything else that's not.
What you said about the writing fast, I think getting that first draft down is sort of important. And a lot of the people I've spoken to on here, when they're writing the first draft, they don't check any sentence structure. They just write the story and get it down.
Yes.
And I've been doing that the same with the Billy Sparks series I'm doing. Each episode is written now in pretty much first person, but I'm producing it in third person. So as I'm going through my edits, my first edit is just to change it all to third person.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm changing it all to third person, and on my next edit, I'll be looking at things like sort of emotion, descriptions, and that kind of the senses, sort of like the taste and the smells, and sort of just give it more depth.
Gosh.
That's on my sort of the next one. But I just love writing. It's such a great world, isn't it? It's a great world.
It is.
And I think what's particularly good for you. What's particularly good for you, Deb, because you're working full time, the pressure to sell is not there. So you can sort of you float and be as free as you like, can't you?
Yeah. And we always said, me and my partner, that it was never about the money. Never.
No.
I wrote the first book to just help me grieve. And putting him in that book.
That's an amazing story. I'm loving that story. That's
it's not like I got over him, because still absolutely adore him. Yeah. But it did help me deal with it a lot better. And then when I started writing the second book, I found that I just loved it, and the stories just flow out of me. Yeah. So I've found something with his death that I'm really, really enjoying.
Yeah,
it's because of him.
It's that emotional connection with Jake is sort of helping bring it all through you, isn't it? And
yes.
Just get all those first drafts done, I think. And I think that's what I did with that. Let's say what I did with that series. I wrote 8 episodes, all in first draft, and then I'm sort of going back to the start to edit and finish it off. So I've got the whole first season.
What I didn't know. When I did the first draft of Secondhand Rose, that's the one that I sent to them. I never did any more drafts. I didn't even know to do that. I just sent it them.
That is a remarkable story. That is a remarkable story, and we want to see how that story develops. So I think we'll probably get you back on in 12 months and see where you are then. Because I think
I'd love that.
You've got a great journey that we want to hear more about. So that's really good.
Yeah, who knows? I might be writing number 3.
Hey, you'll probably be on number 6 by then. Deb, this has been fantastic. Anybody who's loving the show, make sure you like and subscribe and all that. We're trying to get past 100 subscribers, which by the time you're reading this, we might be sort of near 200. So help us get near 200. That'd be even better. Just want to get the numbers up and share everybody's journeys. That's nice, isn't it? Right then, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming on, Deb. Nice one.
Thank you.